Hi, welcome to Maree P. My name's Sue, and today I've got a simple spelt fruit cake. No peel, perfect as a Christmas gift, no alcohol, so it's perfect for the whole family. So if you'd like to see how to make my simple spelt fruit cake, that's quite hard to say. Come with me and let's see. So step one, we're going to add 125 grams of butter to this saucepan, unsalted butter. And I've got two types of sugar. I've got half brown, light brown sugar and half white. We've got 100 grams of white caster sugar and 90 grams of the light brown sugar. And as I said in the intro, I've got no peel in this. So I've got 500 grams of a combination of sultanas, dried cranberries and raisins. So that all goes in as well. And to make this cake super moist, so you don't need any alcohol, we've got crushed pineapple. I couldn't buy tin crushed pineapple here, so what I've got is I had frozen pineapple, a 400 gram packet. So I've just blended that so it's all crushed. So that goes in as well, juice and all. And if you're watching from the USA, if you jump over to my website, mareep.com, I've got a converter there. So you can click the US units and then you've got everything converted to US friendly units. So while that's doing its thing, you need to prepare your cake tin. So we're doing it in a round springform cake tin. I've greased the bottom and lined it with baking paper. These little clips are just holding it in place. So we'll just let that do its thing. And in the meantime, you want to get your flour ready. I've already sifted my flour. So I'm using spelt flour, white spelt flour, 250 grams. But it'll work fine if you just want to use regular flour, like plain flour. And then we're going to add in some baking powder to that. So I've got 2 teaspoons. You can either sift that in or you can whisk it in. The bicarb soda goes in with the fruit at the end. And then we're going to add in just a teaspoon of spice. So I'm going to use cinnamon and mixed spice, making a noise, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. But if you want to make this and you don't have mixed spice, do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, or you can just mix and match your own spices, add a little bit of ginger if you want. So just whisk that so that's all combined. And pop your oven on, 160 fan forced, or that's around 320 I think Fahrenheit. Just keep an eye on your fruit too, so once the butter's all melted and the sugar is dissolved, you can drop it back and just simmer it for a few minutes. And if you've whisked it like me and you've got a few large pieces of pineapple, don't worry, that's fine. It'll just add to the lovely texture. I love fruitcake any time of year, but it's even better at Christmas time. And if you don't want to make a Christmas pudding and you just want to do this the day before, it's super quick and you can heat it up and have a little bit of custard or ice cream with it on Christmas Day. So our fruit's all done. The next step is we need to add a teaspoon of bicarb soda or baking soda. And we'll just mix that through. Now we'll just let this sit to cool a little bit because we don't want to add the eggs and the flour into a hot fruit. So we'll just let that sit and then we'll add in the other things and we bake it. And this is a great one if you want to prepare all the fruit the night before. So you could do it the night before, wake up the next morning, add all the eggs and flour in, bake it in the oven, and so it saves you time. So we're just going to let that sit and do its thing, and then we'll do what are we up to? Step 4? Okay, so our fruit mix is cooled. So the next step, we need to grab 2 eggs and just lightly beat it. And pour that into our fruit. Mix that around a little bit. We've got our flour that we prepared earlier with our baking powder and spices. So just fold all that in. You can transfer the fruit into a mixing bowl, but I don't like making too much mess. So I thought I'd just do it in the one pot. So it's a 1-pot fruit cake. Okay, I'm going to use my spatula just to scrape the edges. You just want to make sure you don't see any of the flour bits. And then we're good to pour it in. Scraping all the last bits of the batter out of my pot. It's going to smooth that over with my spatula. Just want to tap it a little bit on the bench as well, just to ensure there's no pockets of air. So the first step is bake it for 40 minutes, but I'm going to remove these. And then halfway through the baking time, we need to add some foil. It takes roughly about an hour and a half. Oh, a baking tip, I added foil to the bottom of my cake tin just in case we had any spills. So stick around, I've got a few extra baking tips for you. So a few other modifications that you can do in this cake. I've just got them written down, so I'm going to read it off my list. So sugar, you could swap out the brown sugar and do all white sugar. The cake will be a little bit lighter in colour, but it will still taste fine. Spices, oh, as I said before, you can be creative with these spices and add some ginger, or you can do your own combination of Christmas spices like ground cloves, or put a little touch of allspice. I might have mentioned this before as well. You can swap out the spelt flour for, you could even try buckwheat flour, you could try wholemeal flour, you can put regular flour, you can do 1 cup plain flour and another cup self-raising flour and just leave out the baking powder. Also, I might have mentioned the cake tins. If you didn't have a 23 centimetre, you could do it in a 20 centimetre cake tin. And if you wanted to add a little bit of fancy decoration on top, you could get some blanched almonds and put them on top in the second bake, and you could have a pretty pattern. You might want to check out a few other videos as well. I'll put links up the top for my chocolate Christmas cake and my white Christmas, but stick around because I'll show you what to do with the foil halfway through. Our 40-minute timer just went off, so I'm going to grab some foil and I'm just going to cover the top, and then we need to bake it for an additional 40 to 50 minutes. Covering with the foil ensures that your top doesn't burn. So my 40-minute timer went off and I'm just going to check it. I've got my skewer here. I'm just going to poke that in and just make sure it's cooked in the middle. Yeah, I think that's done. So now we just need to let this totally cool. So our fruitcake's cooled and ready to cut. Normally with this kind of cake you can slice it this way and then you can get smaller pieces, but I'll do a wedge shape. It's actually quite a huge piece. Look at all that great fruit. So here we have my simple spelt fruit cake. Let's have a taste test. Yeah, it's still warm and moist. It's lovely. If you've liked my video today, pop a comment below, share it with a friend, hit the thumbs up for like, and I'm going to pop in a few more Christmas baking ideas up the top here. So keep watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.